Hello, everyone, and welcome into an emergency pod of the Men in Orange and Black. Almost forgot the name there.
Yeah.
I was totally unprepared for this. Why? I told you we weren't coming back till like September, October.
Well,
why are we here? It's still July.
There is a reason.
Mr. Matt.
Yeah. Mr. Steve, how are you? There is a reason, obviously, that we're doing this, right? I mean, it was,
The Flyers must have made a move. Oh,
no. They didn't sign Del Pidio. They didn't, but it had something to do with a goaltender of the future. And because we are sane around here, we have to calm people's expectations, right? I mean, at the end of the day. So, because we've already seen some crazy lunatic nonsense, that kind of stuff.
Yes. If you don't know what we're talking about, I don't even know what they call their court up there in London, Ontario, but the court in the Hockey Canada trial of sexual assault comprising Carter Hart and 4 other boobs. A decision was reached on Thursday, July 24th. Yeah, 24th.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Acquitting all 5 of charges following the lengthy trial. And so, of course, immediately the thoughts around here went to, well, should the Flyers bring back Carter Hart? And I happened to see a poll by Sam Carchidi on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And at the last time I saw it, which I believe was this morning, the yeses led the no's by, I think it was 58 to 42.
Oh.
So 6 out of 10, roughly, want to see the Flyers bring back Carter Hart in goal. And so we're having this emergency pod to discuss whether or not that would be a good idea.
Might as well just throw our little 5 cents into this little discussion, right,
sure,
Steve?
Why not?
Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We've got things to say. So
we have a podcast.
We shall say them.
We have microphones. We have cameras. What the hell, right? Yeah.
So we'll say our thing and be gone until September or such time as something else raises the ire of Flyers fans region-wide.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
So I don't know where we should start. Matt, do you want to... I think you have some hockey-related reasons why you think this would be a bad idea.
Well, yeah.
Start there, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess we could just transition right to it. And currently, the Flyers are they have a cap space of only $370,000. And that was mostly because they signed 3 pretty significant players to the roster. One of them being Cam York, that they dedicated 5 years at $5.15 million AAV,
which is fine, acceptable. Yep. We agree with that deal.
You have a Christian Dvorak coming in, 1 year, $5.4 million. You needed a center, obviously, a 4th-line center specifically. Had a decent year.
And you probably overpaid, but it's 1 year, so who cares?
And then you signed Dan Vladar on July 1st, 2 years at $3.35 million AAV.
Who is a goaltender.
Did you get that? He's a goaltender. I mean,
make that clear.
Yeah, just to make that clear. So that only left you with just under $400,000 in cap space. So my first question for all you Flyers fans out there that one Carter Hart signed or re-signed, I should say, can you show me where you're going to do that, given this amount of cap space? Because
you trade Dan Vladar.
Oh, the guy you just signed, the guy you just signed, who wanted to be here, who said that he wanted to be here. So Danny gave him Danny Briere gave him an extra year. So you want to just basically just cut ties with him, and here you go, Carter, you got your job back. That doesn't seem to make any sense. Steve, I don't know. This is hard because I think a lot of people saw the potential of Carter Hart, particularly during the COVID year, when he was really on fire. He was guiding the team. I think they were second in the division, one of the hottest teams in the NHL prior to the shutdown, and was carrying them. Really, a lot of talk was like this team's probably going to challenge for the Metro division title and be a 1 or a 2 seed in the upcoming playoffs. And we all know what happened after. Obviously, COVID shut that whole thing down. and we ended up going to the playoffs, but that's been our last postseason run ever since then.
I also wouldn't say he carried us. They played extremely well as a team that year. He played well. I'm not going to deny that. I wouldn't say that he was not the sole responsibility for us being in the position we were when COVID shut everything down.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
now go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, so there's that. And I think there's that the rose-colored glasses looks at that and sees, oh, there's potential. If we just sign this guy back, he can recapture the magic of what he showed on the ice. I would like to point out that was 5 years ago. That was a long time ago. And to be perfectly honest, I don't remember much. I'm not trying to discount what he did, but I don't remember much outside of that 1 year that he had. Now, granted, I think part of it was defense wasn't all that good. You hear that kind of, that kind of stuff. And it's like, okay, we were kind of tail end of the Giroux era and, that kind of stuff. So I don't know. He's had decent stats. His GAA, he has a 2.94 for his career. It's a 906 save percentage. He has 6 shutouts in his career. And the GAA prior to his leave was going down from a 3.67 to a 2.80. So maybe people are thinking, oh, he's entering his prime, all that kind of stuff. But there's a chance here. Again, you don't have much cap space. You already signed a goaltender. And it was like you couldn't.
Who, by the way, played last year.
Yeah. And played very well, by the way. Played very well for the Calgary Flames.
Well, at the end, particularly, yeah.
Yeah. I guess I'm having a little bit of difficulty trying to understand the rationale. Is my question.
Yeah. The cap number you gave is a little misleading because I guarantee they're not carrying 3 goaltenders. So Fedotov is probably, unless he magically wins something in camp, Fedotov is probably going to be waived and sent down to the Phantoms.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not going to save you his whole cap hit, but there's going to be a good chunk. So it's maybe like $1 million or $2 million. So you're going to have a little bit more than you say. But then you're going to sign Hart to eat up that cap space, and then you're going to carry 3 goalies again anyway.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think that's the solution.
Yeah.
Plus, the guy hasn't played in 2 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody else on the roster at least played a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And as we said, Vladar, at least the end of his season, was pretty good.
Yeah,
he was over 900
save
percentage.
Yeah.
He was doing well. Why are you going to... You're trying to build something here.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you going to fiddle with what you've been doing just because you think this guy who hasn't played in 2 years and wasn't exactly the Messiah in the first place? I with the hockey reasons alone, I'm having difficulty.
Yeah.
And not to mention, by the way, just so as you know, the NHL has not reinstated any of these 5 guys yet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't sound like it's happening anytime soon either.
Exactly.
Despite what the NHLPA wants.
Yeah. And the Crown has the ability to essentially appeal that judge's decision that was made. But they have 30 days to do so. All likelihood, though, it seems like they're not going to forego that or not going to try and appeal because the testimony was all, is very inconsistent. And unfortunately, we're living in a society right now where you're guilty instead of presuming to be innocent. That's just the unfortunate, sad reality. You have to basically prove that someone is guilty. It's the other way around. It's not you're guilty, then you have to be tried to be innocent. That kind of a deal. But that's a whole other side issue that we could discuss on another podcast of ours. 2 Noobs Talking.
Well, I do want to get into that a little bit because
sure.
The people who want him back, and it may not be everybody, but a lot of the people who want him back, the comments I'm seeing are, well, he's not guilty, so he
Hey, just sign
they
him.
should sue.
Yeah.
They should sue her and sign him and give him back pay and all this stuff.
Oh, jeez.
Like,
that's not going to happen at all. Like, you do realize that, guys, right? That's just not going to happen.
But here's the thing, okay? Innocent and proven guilty, yes, absolutely. He was found not guilty. But this is not a case where he was found, he wasn't there, or the actions that were alleged never happened. Okay? He and the other players were found not guilty because it came down to whether or not there was consent. And it was a credibility judgment up to the judge. Whose testimony do I find more credible?
Yeah.
So all of the acts that were alleged to have occurred were basically admitted to have occurred.
Yeah.
There was no dispute that the actions that were alleged to take place took place. And so, yeah, what you did ultimately was deemed not to be illegal. But at the same time, I mean, the thing that gets to me is you had teammates from Hockey Canada who were not charged, who testified in this trial. And at least one of them, to my recollection, said something to the effect of, yeah, I was in the room and I really wasn't comfortable with what was going down, so I left. You know what I mean? If you have somebody who feels that way, it's probably not a good situation.
100%.
You know, even if the judge is like, well, it's not illegal because there was consent. You were taking advantage of somebody who was intoxicated. And Hockey Canada has a big culture problem.
Big time
which this
culture
is
problem.
emblematic of.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think just a not guilty verdict, it's going to be like, oh, well, we could sweep it all under the rug. Hockey Canada is absolved. We were right to begin with to blow this off.
Yeah.
That's not going to work.
No.
There was some bad behavior here, even if it wasn't technically illegal. And look, Hart engaged in that activity, and it ended up hurting the team.
Yeah.
Goaltending was
Big
okay.
Big time.
While he was here with Ersson. That tandem was good. He got shipped off. We went in the tank.
Big time went in the tank.
So, to me, I don't think... And there's other things you have to consider too, like sponsors. Are they going to be okay if you sign somebody like this? You know, like all the kind of business things that go along with these things.
Yeah.
Again, even if he's not guilty, it wasn't that he was cleared of, not having done things.
If he had left the room, I think there's a different. Exactly. I think if he had left the room, there would have been a different story. Certainly that was going on. Like he knew that, okay, this is not good. I need to get the hell out of here. No likelihood that didn't happen. So,
well, it's admitted to have not happened because the testimony. Hart himself testified. He testified. He was there. He did what was said. Okay.
So how do you square that, right? If you're the Flyers, Flyers, and you're presented with this, and he says, yes, this did happen, and I did it, that kind of a deal. Why on earth, as an organization, would you want to try and sign this guy, and re-sign this guy, I should say, back?
Especially since that burned you previously.
Big time. Yeah.
That hurt the team.
It did.
You know, if he did this, he was on some other team, it might be a little different because he didn't harm your team at that point, but he harmed the Flyers.
Yeah.
And to me, I don't think at this point in time you can take him back.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't disagree.
And you couple that And couple that with he hasn't played in 2 years. He hasn't been cleared to sign with a team yet. All that, he's going to have to ramp back up. You're going to have to see if he's even the same goalie he was before he left.
Exactly.
I don't think it makes sense at all.
I clearly when they made that signing for Dan Vladar, they had moved on. They were not ever going to see Carter Hart walk into Voorhees ever again. He was done, at that point. Finished. That's what I've kept saying to a couple of coworkers at work, other friends. It's like, he is not coming back. He's done. That's just the bottom line. If he is going to go into the National Hockey League again, I think the pathway for him has to be, you got to go outside the United States, outside North America. You got to play in Europe. You got to play in the KHL. You got to do in some other league where you have to build yourself back up again. And then maybe, if you're good over the next couple of years, the Flyers look at you, and maybe if there's another opportunity, you give them a chance. You give them a look-see. But for right now, there is no legitimate explanation other than, other than you're thinking what happened 5 years ago and how good he was in 2020 heading into the COVID year. That was a long time ago. That was a half decade ago that this happened. Doesn't make any sense to make that. Yeah. Doesn't make any sense to try and essentially put all of your remaining eggs in this basket to try and see if Carter Hart can somehow magically recapture what happened 5 years ago. You're taking a huge chance on a guy in that regard. Even if you have him on the roster and he's just sitting on the pine, it is a huge risk to the entire roster. What if it happens again? Then all of a sudden, you've got another question. You've got other questions you have to answer. Why did you take this flyer? Why did you take this flyer on him? Sorry, had to throw that in there.
Terrible.
Yeah, terrible. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense from a team perspective, from a salary cap perspective, from the player's perspective either, too. Like, he's got to rebuild his career, and he needs to do it outside of North America. I'm fully convinced he needs to go outside North America and play in Europe or play in KHL, whatever.
He needs to do that to A, prove he can still play, and B, go somewhere where his reputation is not going to, and let this cool off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe in a year, it could be as soon as, January if he's playing somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe at that point, some NHL team is like, all right, well, it's going to piss off a lot of fans, but let's do this. Let's bring him in.
Sure.
You're going to have to weigh the baggage that's coming with that. That's just the reality. But I agree with you. I don't think it makes sense. The Flyers have a good goalie pipeline going. They got Bjarnason, they've got Zavragin, young guys. Why are we going to go back to the well with Carter Hart? I think at this point you move on. Just be done with it. It's too many questions.
Yeah. It's a damn shame. It really is, because I think we saw the talent that he had. It was like, this is a guy that you could have signed for the next 10 years as your Marty, Brodeur, that kind of a deal. That kind of goaltender.
Let's not go there.
Well, potentially.
I don't know if he's a Marty Brodeur, but
he certainly was on track, I think, though, when you look at his talent, when you see what was going on, the way he was keeping the team in games as best he possibly could. Certainly a lot better than Ersson, certainly a lot better than Fedotov, all that kind of stuff. Everybody could see that.
Oh, he would have been the best goalie on the roster last season.
No question about that.
Debate about that.
No doubt about that. But the number of questions that are swirling around that guy's head right now, it's like, I think the last thing that although he probably, in the back of his mind is thinking, boy, that'd be great if I could play again. Last thing he needs to do is focus on trying to get back into the NHL. This court stuff, it's still going to continue. This isn't going away anytime soon. There could be a counter lawsuit against this girl. There could be all kinds of other things that are happening just to try and additionally clear his name, to make sure that everything's all right. And then, after that's all done, got to get back in shape. You can't just sign the guy for a 1 or 2 year deal, expecting him to show up at Voorhees and say, Here you go, kid. Here's your number one goaltender slot back.
I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
That's just not going to happen, because then you're going to throw him in and he's going to give up 5 goals and everyone's going to be like, oh, he sucks. Well, yeah, of course he sucks, because he hasn't been playing in 2 years. So it's a lose-lose, unfortunately. That's our thoughts on that, I think. It's a damn shame. Like I said, it's a damn shame it happened to him. But, I mean, he chose to be there. He made a conscious decision to be there, and he could have pulled himself out and said, you know what, this ain't right. But Hockey Canada, that's been
like some of his teammates did.
Yeah. Hockey Canada has had a lot of issues, and it's showing up in the World Junior Championships and the World Championships, all that kind of stuff. Their house is in complete disorder right now. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, the United States is taking advantage of that. Just saying. But yeah, right. It's like that program needs a gigantic reset button. And this is going to help that program in that regard, I think, down the road. But it's still got a long ways to go. It really does.
And that's why I just don't think the NHL is going to say, okay, guys, you can come back. You know, there's going to be repercussions because they want the culture to change.
Yeah.
And again, despite the not guilty verdict, I think you need to have some kind of consequence to show that you're serious about changing what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think these guys may still have to sit out quite a ways before they're allowed back in.
Yeah, totally agree. No.
And that's just the way it is. But I think we've said our piece. Hart should not come back, at least not now.
Yeah.
And we should focus on moving ahead with the 25-26 season.
I would just say let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you guys think? Should Carter Hart be re-signed? And give your thoughts, sane as best you can, obviously, to try. And we basically laid out our outline of like saying, okay, here's the reason why. No cap, you're up against it, all that kind of stuff. But if you feel like he should, let us know in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, pro or con, doesn't matter. We'd love to hear your thoughts on it, that kind of a deal. So.
Yeah. Pro, we'll probably rip you on the next episode.
For the season preview. What the hell?
We have the microphone.
Exactly.
We have the power.
That's right.
All right. Well, until next time, whenever the hell that might be, before the season or at season's beginning, that is Matt Craig and I'm Steve Murray, your ruler. Well, until next time, we say, let's go Flyers.